Where was it feel? 2+ kids.
I'm not able.
I quite understand. That's the question.
Oreos in there. Yeah, put on.
And then when I walk by the.
I don't think Alex, I'm very either.
Yeah.
Has they got on to bus? It's peanut butter and some. Yeah. I get the popcorn. I get the popcorn.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call, Dana, please.
Yes. Pressure here. President Roger Sager,
Present.
Dana Schneider, present. Kent Otto,
Present.
Greg Eckerly, absent. Kristen Rue, present. Kelly Light, present. Renee Cabrick, city attorney, here. All right, I think this is form.
Thanks. Ken, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
The United States of America, which is the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes.
I'll approve the minutes from the last meeting.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All's in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those the same, motion carries. Claims, Tom?
Okay, on the first page here, down about a third of the way, Amazon, $4,465.30. We have a lot of office supplies in that and speakers for the bathhouses and the pool. Most of these things on the claims list today will be dealing with the pool. If you go down to the last item on the front page, the flowers, part of Jasper, if you recall, we got the contract go through them. We had got approved for $10,000. This turned out to be $7,071.75. So fortunately, we have those volunteers to help us out to keep those prices down. Maybe a few additional items added to that next month. Page 2, Home Depot. Again, these are all pool items for the pool. We got the umbrellas, shelving, pressure washer, bunch of items for the concessions, things like that. $4,106.40. Next item, Hope Equipment. That is our park mower that we received permission to purchase. $16,577.95. The mower itself is $14,180. Go down a few lines, Jasper Equipment and Supply, $4,752.75. $2,500 of that was trash cans, believe it or not, the pool does not count with trash cans, so. That was Wednesday before the opening of the pool, so it's a quick go out and get it. Next item, Jasper Utility, Municipal Utilities, $5,268.69, $2,500, and that was for the pool for the gas line. They only charge us for parts and not for labor. So that's very positive for us. I go down about midway, Crotal. This is to set up concessions at the pool and concessions other places. $8,769.59, $5,500 of that was set up to concessions at the pool. Shellers Fitness and Cycling down towards the bottom, about 2/3 down. That's the Hobby Center's treadmill, $5,313.29, which we received permission to purchase last month. Sin Energy, $7,640.55. Tis the season, that is fuel. Tree pros down at the bottom, $6,200. We had trees that we needed to get cut down. Centennial Park had one, couple behind the schoolhouse. And that is your claim.
Thank you, Tom. We would need a motion to accept the claims.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those the same. Thank you. Eli, want to give us a little Eagle Scout project proposal?
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Hello. My name is Eli Rashi and I am currently working toward earning the rank of Eagle Scout with Holy Family Troop 185. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my Eagle Scout project with you tonight. For my project, I plan to build a wooden arbor that will serve as the entrance to the Veterans Garden area by the old Schaefer barn here in downtown Jasper. This arbor will be approximately 12 feet wide, 10 feet across, and 7.5 feet tall, large enough to allow a vehicle to pass through. The arbor will include 2 benches on each side where visitors can sit and reflect. Once the structure is built, I will install wire across the inside of the arbor to display dog tags in memory or in honor of the veterans for our community. This will make the structure double as a veterans memorial. The structure will serve as a formal entrance to the veteran garden. Currently, the area does not have this, and I believe it makes it hard for local citizens to know the area exists. The dog tags will be available for community members to purchase and personalize for their friends or family members who have served in the military. I plan to promote this part of my project through social media and with the help of local veteran organizations such as American Legion. I'm working closely with the Daughters of American Revolution on this project. They have already approved the design and are offering their support. I believe this arbor will not only enhance the Veterans Garden area, but also create a lasting space of honor and remembrance for those who have served. Thank you for considering my project, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. And I also have a flyer that I'm gonna hand out.
Nice presentation. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Tom, as he's handed these out, I assume that we've looked at this and okayed it.
We've looked at this, Eli came and had a discussion with us, Park Department. As you recall, a few years ago, the DAR Daughters of American Revolution were taking responsibility for that area and turning it into the Veterans Memorial area. So they had a plan for this whole area. Eli has gone and talked to them to make sure this fell in line with their plan as well. Jay and Rob and I sat down with Eli and had a discussion, make sure that we were good with it on our end, and this is all worked out for all of us.
Perfect.
As they maintain that property, or we still, or
We assist, they do a lot over there, though. They maintain flowers and things like that. We still mow around the area.
I'm assuming the dog tags can be out like year round and stuff like that.
Yeah,
What is the time frame of the project, Eli?
I'm looking to get it done by Strassenfest. Yeah.
Aggressive goal.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's neat.
So that's right.
Yeah,
who's gonna be doing the work on the project?
other scouts and scout leaders.
Probably want to have everyone sign a waiver, all the volunteers will need to.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the board? Okay, so what goes on from here? Just
We'll work with Parks Department and scheduling, letting them know when the work is done, and like I said, we'll need to have waivers signed by any volunteer workers.
Then we'll just check downstairs. I'll show you where Carol's office is. You can get the waivers from Carol. And anybody you have working with you can sign those, be good to go.
and I know in a lot of these projects. There's some media here every once in a while that have there's funding and fundraising. Are you trying to raise any funds for this project at all?
Yeah,
You are?
Yeah.
And what do you think the cost of it is and what are you looking for?
We have most of the materials already donated. I'm looking around like $2,000.
$2,000 yet to cover this project
Yeah.
or $2,000 to cover the project?
Yeah.
Okay,
We need to vote. Probably take a
Yeah.
motion to accept the approve
if anybody has any more questions, well, if not, if they get the great project, we would need a motion for this.
I will make that motion.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Any further discussion? No, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
project.
This is-
Really neat.
Yes.
Congratulations. Okay, then, Camp Connor, you want to talk about it?
Sure. If you recall, now several years ago, the board went through the process of analyzing or identifying and analyzing underutilized project or properties. And as part of that process, Camp Carnes was identified as possible property. But in the meanwhile, Little Spruce Winter School came in and started renting it on an annual basis for their nursery school program. As time passed, they started to identify parts of Camp Carnes that needed repair and ultimately identified a pretty big renovation project. Through that whole process, we determined that it was appropriate to sell a part of that Camp Carnes property to Little Spruce Nature School, and we did that in, I think it was 2022 or 2023. In order to do that, we also went through a process of platting Camp Carnes' entire property into 3 lots. And so while we sold lot number 2 to Little Spruce, we were not ready to sell lot number 1. That is the lot that has the residential home on it. There was some issue or questions with respect to the
So,
septic, thank you, the septic system. So since that time, a lot of things have been going on, but we did have the property, the soil analyzed and got a report back and understand that the septic needs to be, or a new septic system needs to be installed, and we obtained an estimate for the cost of that. We've had the lots appraised and now are in a position that all things are ready to roll and ready to move forward with the sale of the property. Since it's been a while, since we've analyzed this issue, I felt like it was important to have another public hearing in order to get approval to proceed with the sale. So the mayor identified the park board because that's been a property cared for by the Parks Department. So he identified the park board as the appropriate body to conduct that public hearing. So today is an opportunity for anyone in the public to come forward and comment with respect to the sale of lot number 1, which again is the lot that has the residential home on it, and lot number 3, which is the largest of the 3 lots. It's approximately 28 acres, just a little under 28 acres. And it's wooded, it has no improvement on it. And finally, during this entire, the course of this entire matter, it was identified that there are some owners of Idlewild lots, leaseholders, I should say, that have items encroaching on that wooded lot. It's a very small, I call it a sliver of property right off of the west property line of our lot number 3 that we have administratively subdivided off. It's like it's less than 7/10 of an acre. And it would allow then those lot owners in Idlewild to maintain their or I think there's an outhouse, a couple of fire pits, the corner of somebody has the corner of a building. So, we've separated again, I think it's 0.696 acres. That the resolution would identify it as, its highest and best use to be sold to the adjacent or budding property owner. So, again, today is a public hearing to allow anyone in the public to come forward and comment on that sale. And then once the public hearing is over, the goal would be for the Parks Department to pass resolution number PR 2025-3, which recommends to the common council the sale of those properties.
So, anybody in the public would like to speak on this? Close the portion of this.
So we would need a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, we made a motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second for the discussion. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carries.
Great. Then, like I said, resolution number PR 2025-3 is a resolution recommending the sale of real property. This per Indiana code would be a resolution that recommends to the mayor and the common council the sale of number 1 and lot number 3 to the highest bidder for those properties, and the sale of a part of lot number 3, which is the sliver that I spoke about, to the abutting landowner, who is the Idlewild Lake Incorporated.
Okay, so we would look for someone to propose a motion of PP 2025-3.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion.
Second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Are there any limits on that at all, or there's no floors?
Yep, there is. We did have the property appraised, so we'll use the average of those appraisals, although the property with the septic issue, I did reach out to the appraisers and they adjusted the appraisal based on the report that came back for the cost of the septic system. So we will use the average of the 2 adjusted appraisals for that property and the average of the original appraisals for both the lot number 3 and the small part of lot number 3.
So before we vote on it, go through the process, if you don't mind, with me of how this goes up for sale and how one bids on it.
Okay, we'll go to the common council and get their final approval of, to proceed with the sale. And then, just as we did the last time around, we'll advertise those parcels in the paper and we will advertise the minimum that, from under which we will not accept a bid. And people will have, probably about 30 days, to submit a bid. And we will have those bids posted and, after the end of that process, we will determine whether we have any bids and want to close it, or if we don't have any bids and we want to allow it to remain open, we can do so, but not longer than 60 days. And that is for the 2 larger lots. The smaller lot, again, is going to be sold to the adjacent property owner who has already made an offer that is consistent with the average of the appraisals. So that is available for the mayor to approve once the park board makes the recommendation. And so that process would just involve us exchanging the appropriate paperwork for the sale.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Great, thank you very much. We'll keep
Thank
you
you.
posted.
I think if you look back at the minutes, that goes into the park board, the park budget. I'm not sure, but.
Yes.
I don't think you dictate that.
No, but if you look at the minutes, I think that was mentioned.
That was our intent.
There we go. Good job there. Okay, older American, Karen. Mhm.
Well, we turned in our best May to date, since I've been there anyway, so that's when I started counting back in 2010. So, yeah, we turned in just over 3,000, which tops 2024 by about 300, so, or just under 3, so it was a great month. We also lost some of our daily regular card players because one of them was injured, so the guys, we had like 6 or 8 that come in every day. And they were going to their house and playing cards, so we lost them, because otherwise we would have exceeded last month too. With all of them, but we start losing a few during the summer because they babysit and things like that. Last month I took 2 buses to the Derby dinner for Singing in the Rain. One of the best shows I think a lot of people have seen down there. And then I have one tomorrow going to the show called Half Baked. I had to beg, borrow and steal, but we filled that bus. I have a full bus going June 26th to St. Louis to see the Cardinals and the Cubs. That will actually be my July trip, because I usually do one a month, but the date for a good game and a day game worked out at the end of June, so that will be my July trip. My August trip is not getting off the ground yet. They want to go to the horse races at Ellis Park, but if I could get a live person to call me back, that would be fantastic, but yeah, that's not working so far. I've called them 3 times and still waiting. Water aerobics started. They are loving the new pool. I think our record right now, we've only had 3 classes, was 33, but the weather's still not that great for that generation. They're like, it's still a little chilly because it's been rainy and cool. But I think the first class we had 21 and then we had 33, and then I think there was 20 this last Monday. So they'll have that again tomorrow. So as the weather stays warm and nice, they'll get out for that. I did go over the waivers and stuff and the things with Kale on our procedures as far as the sign-ins and make sure that we're doing the waivers the right time for the trips and all of that. And he said everything seems good as far as what we're doing and liability goes. So other than that, we got our new treadmill last Thursday and the seniors are super happy. So now we got 3 pretty new treadmills down there. So I just gave a tour to 2 more people today, so they're still dropping in to see what it's all about, so. Yeah, it's crazy busy.
That's more important, yeah.
Going, yeah, it's a lot, but yeah, it's great.
Great report. I mean, again, it's the best. What can you say? It's the best May we've ever had. So
Yeah,
that
it's,
was really cool. We took a tour of the swimming pool and we saw water aerobics.
I was gonna take pictures and I was like, oh, they're there for the ribbon cutting. Yeah, I'm not going. But I was like, how perfect is that to have that in the background? Casey's phenomenal. You can't say enough nice about her because her and her classes are just fabulous. I think she had 78 again at either Senior Strong or Golden Go on Monday. And that's like the top, and that's usually the max. We don't ever really get over that, but you know, they venture back and forth. Those Monday classes are the fullest classes of the week and they love her. She's just great. So, yeah. And then water aerobics.
Casey said with the water aerobics that, just like with the old pool, as you mentioned, that it starts off a little slow, but as it warms up, there are more that show up for that.
Yeah, that one night stayed, they had 33. So, and that's a lot considering how the weather's been.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't imagine too many communities in Indiana bettering the programs that we've got for the older Americans. That is awesome.
And I hear that from the people that come in to visit or come back from Florida. They're like, even with the villages, to have something free for the community, for the seniors, they love it. So, and the exercise room, I mean, that's what brings a lot of them in. Then you get places like Heartland Cardiology. Once people are done with their rehab and like Medicare, whatever's done paying for rehab, they send them to us. They're like, they have everything we have up there. So then that's what gets a lot of them to start coming up. A lot of the rehab and places like that send them to us for that. And then they start picking up other things when they see what we got. So.
Great report. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thanks, Gary.
Dana, tourism report, please.
All right. So we finished up, what I like to consider school group season with 8 groups this past month. We had 4 returning groups and 4 completely new groups that we had never seen before. So our first one was Lincoln Trail Elementary second grade was returning. East Crawford Elementary second grade was brand new to us. And Petersburg Elementary first grade was new to us. We had a historical group that had returned. Another returning group for their second year was Perry Central Elementary first grade. And then we also had Holy Trinity Catholic School, their kindergarten came again. And then in the middle of the month, we had our first train rides, not ours, but Old Jasper Days. And that was really well attended. Nancy turned in 320 passengers for those 4 rides that day. And then we had 2 homeschools come at the end of the month on the last 2 days of our regular days of school. There were 2 homeschool groups that came, and they were one was from Du Bois Pike counties, the other was from Jefferson, Scott, and Floyd counties. So word's gotten out around the state about what we're offering for everybody. And then we have some really good numbers for the first 2 farmers markets. The Alexander One Room Schoolhouse was open during those. So people got out and found the schoolhouse, and the mill's still turning in really great numbers and steady visitation. So we ended the month with 3,240 compared to 2,528 last year. And that brings our annual total to 5,649. I do have 2 summer camps that have just called, and they'll be coming in July. One of them is returning. Another one is brand new. They're actually associated with one of the schools that came to see our programs for the first time ever in April. They're bringing a summer camp that they're hosting, so they'll come in July. And then this month, our train rides officially start. So we'll have our family quick trips coming up and the very first Bombers game. And me and Tom have been pretty surprised with how the quick trips have filled. I just started making out tickets today, and we've got about 40 plus tickets for each of those rides for the first one in June. And we could get up to 120 something, so we're looking forward to that.
It's ride and drives typically are not very popular in June. So we tried to change it up a little bit this year, do some family quick trips. So it's just like the Strassen Fest rides where you pay your $10, you go, there's no meal or anything else, but kids really get to enjoy that. Baseball tournaments that are in town, softball tournaments, those kids are right there. The hotel, they're looking for something to do, fill the day, that works out well for them. So this is starting to kick off pretty well for us, I think.
We're optimistic that it'll go over well and not take away from Strassen Fest numbers, but just add to what we're already offering at a different time of year. So that's all I've got. Any questions?
I've done part of this very well.
Oh, yeah, Prairie Walk, that's coming up next month on July 9th. I think I mentioned it last month, but July 9th, the Prairie Walk will happen again for the Parklands. And we'll be out there starting at 6:30. I think they've got it set to go until 8:30 this year. It's been so popular, and we've spent additional time each year standing out there because people want to know more and they don't want to leave just yet. They want to keep walking, and we don't make it across the entire property in that amount of time because there's just so much to see in such a small area. So we're excited to see and show them what all there is to see, especially in that area where we had the controlled burn.
So that was our first year. Was this our 4th one?
I believe.
And our first year, I was surprised. We had about 50 people show up for the first one. And we had scheduled an hour for it, an hour and a half into it. We hadn't got nearly as far as we should have. But so we tried to extend a little bit more every time, but everybody's just fascinated with that.
Yeah.
So it's a neat thing.
To get the whole loop.
Oh, we would have to be there all day. We'd have to break it into segments.
Where does it start?
And is it the same every year?
It has kind of been the same every year,
Similar.
but what species are showing at that time it changes. So we tried to bump it up a little bit because some of the flowering species we don't capture because they flower in June And we're coming in late July when a lot of that is already kind of deadheaded. So we're trying to get to that point where we can actually see some different varieties that we haven't seen in the past. So we tried to bump it up a little earlier in July, get it away from Strauss and Best too, since we have a lot going on during that time of year.
But the folks that come to help us out, they go in early, they flag different species here, there and everywhere. Then they have a list. And so, it's really interesting to see the people that show up, a wide, diverse group of people that show up to go through this tour. But, it's a.
Are they all local?
At most,
Most of them, yeah, but their reasons for coming are completely different. Some of them are property owners and they're wanting to know where they can collect the seeds or get the seeds for these varieties because they want to plant them. Others are just curious about what the plants are that they see out there as they're walking.
but you can see it's a lot more strategic than it is just random. Oh, this just grew here. I mean, no, it was planned, so. It's neat though.
Maybe one day. then we'll sign. That they were there.
A good Eagle Scout project.
That would be a good.
You know, Steve loves signs, but they would be like real cute ones that are real low to the ground.
As long as they're willing to come back and move them every time that species pops up in a different spot, because it's not gonna be in the exact same.
A nice report. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks, Dan.
it. Kurt Rochelle.
Okay, month of May, pro shop, we did really well up there. Month of May, we brought in $112,053.22. That was up $8,908.62 from 2024. The range for 2025. As you see, it was just slightly up from last year, $13,218. Total for 2025, $331,964.95. If you look below the small baskets compared to large baskets, 635 small. We broke over 1,000 baskets for the month of May. So I thought that was pretty impressive. We were up slightly on the range, the rounds played for the month of May. So horses starting to come around a little bit. If we ever get some warm weather for the warm season grass in the back nine, we're still having a little bit of trouble with the Bermuda. It's not starting to grow in yet. We're just having too much of cool weather at night. So this is my next, if option we're gonna have, we asked the permission to seek pricing for sod for the back nine. As all the other courses around here, we're just having trouble with the grass growing. Now we had a lot of winter kill from the cold weather over the season. So right now the college people are trying to put in sprigs, not really sprigs, but put in plugs from the good area into the bad areas. And Eric thought he might get 70% coverage by the end of this year if everything goes well, but it's still gonna not be completely covered. So that's why we're asking for pricing for sod for the back nine to help out.
Is this in the budget?
I certainly hope so.
Yes.
Very nice. So with that said, I think it was $25,000 is what we were looking at there.
Correct.
So they're asking for seek permission to get pricing for sod for up to $25,000 for the back. And I think all the golf courses around are doing the same thing, so I hope you can get it. Good luck.
It's not about the cost, it's about the availability.
Yeah.
I've already started looking into it.
So we would beat that as a motion.
I make that motion for the sod.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Good month, best May ever, right?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, it seems to be a good story around here. I think we just had 3 of the best months of May ever in tourism, older American, and golf. So that says a lot about, the staff, the mayor, and the department. So congratulations to everybody. That's awesome.
So many compliments on the range. I mean, people haven't stopped complimenting about the range. It's just been nonstop. And Eric took me out of the course today and he's showing me what the college people are trying to do to help improve the conditions where the grass have died from the winter. And he's showing me what they're trying to do, just try to improve anything they can do right now. Since the grass have, died over the winter since it's been so cold, so they're trying everything they can to try to improve the conditions of the course, so they are working
And
nonstop,
And
so.
14 has been open all month of May.
Oh, yeah,
And a lot of compliments about that. People actually hit the ball on the green and stays there. Yeah, that's novel, but that's a lot of good compliments about that.
No, the only comment I would make, other people at other courses, I'm not saying we need to do this, but you at least need to have a little discussion on it. We'll use their range where they hit, not the tee area, but the landing area. We'll use that for sod. So, what I'm saying is if you get a chance sometime, you can go out and throw some sprigs out there and watch it grow.
And turn it around and use it elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's what, for example, Sultan said, if you ever go out and look, their whole range is dead, but they used it for their golf course. So they use it as a nursery. So I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying you guys can at least look at and practice it at your courses.
Trying to get some good grass established on the range
Mhm.
to do that. It'd take 3 to 5 years to really get some good grass established out there, but it's.
You got all the time in the world, because
Yeah. The progress.
it's grass that doesn't matter, it's out there, so. Another great report, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ron?
Okay, well, I'll bring you back down to earth a little bit and talk about Goodswallow Park and pickleball court that we have been struggling with, okay? A little background on this court, it was installed in 1969, you guys are familiar with Goodswallow Park next to the golf course. Tennis court was installed in 69, the coating that we redid was about 12, 13 years ago, and that coating is usually subject to last about 8 to 10 years, and now we're in the 12-year range of that. And we did, as you know, we did two other tennis courts and pickleball courts in Jasper, so now we have 12 pickleball courts in town, and wanted to have a discussion on what the next thing we want to do with the Goodswallow courts are. There've been some talk and some questions, how we need more pickleball courts. The pickleball community is questioning why we haven't done anything with that yet. The cost has been a little prohibitive on doing more pickleball, so just wanted to get a discussion started and talk about the costs and what it takes to put tennis and pickleball coatings down, how expensive that is, and wanted to just get your take as a board on what the future of that court should be. There's some issues with some drainage, and that court has been settling and moving down that hill for a long time. Had some electrical problems with poles up there. It's just been, kind of columns and repair together, and now it's time. It's become to a point where it can become unsafe to play on it. If you've seen, there's some really big cracks on that court. It's time to put some new asphalt on that court if you really want to do it. And that's where it gets costly. We can't repair it. That's the thing. So.
So that court is so close to those apartments, do we ever get complaints?
Yeah.
Yeah, and some vandalism on that court too, for those two, so
And the other thing is less than ideal about Goose Weather is being on top of that hill. It gets pretty windy up there and obviously not ideal for pickleball.
So I hear you loud and clear, you two making your recommendation.
We're trying to get that discussion started. I think personally, I think if we were to do pickleball court someplace else at some point in time, it would be maybe a Rooks or find a different location. But not put it back there. I would think. There's a lot of money to invest in that. I don't think you go right back to that same spot.
Yeah, that's not
There
their
it is.
issue. There's no, we didn't decide to build a bathroom there. It's just other infrastructure issues about putting it back there. It's,
So,
That would be my comments, the bathroom. I remember when we did utilize, that property there, that was a big complaint with everyone was that there was not a bathroom there. But I did share, I mean, I had Friday night where I had to go to 3 different
there's
parks
times.
to
when-
get court time.
Right,
for kids.
when the other 2 courts are full, there are some times, like, when it's, when all of our properties are getting used, usually on Friday night, Saturday night, so that people can go up there and use it. You know, that's not arguing against that. But it's just, is that warranted to one, try and keep them open for long term? You know, I can't patch them anymore. I don't want them to be unsafe. When we're getting to the point where it's, that's the key to it, is can't fix it.
Well, theoretically, if you have to put money into them, I would prefer us put money into a different location, right? Like you would probably want more at the other locations that you're at.
And if that's in the 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever it is, it's a warranted closing them down now. Think of it, might replace them somewhere else if needed in the future.
We're just getting to the point where it could be dangerous before too long. It was a really rough winter, with the winter the way it was, those cracks are starting to get bigger and bigger.
guys, I went up, looked at it, and you shouldn't be playing
It's
with it.
rough.
Shouldn't be doing anything on it, you shouldn't be rollerblading, skating or anything else on it, because you're gonna hit one of those cracks and something's gonna happen. And I don't think right now is the time for a budget to go out and put a bunch of money into pickleball courts. It probably shouldn't be there in the first place, so.
And to Rob's point, if we're looking 5 years out, let's spend the money the best way possible, find the right location for it, and not go back to someplace where we've had some issues.
So you're looking for a motion that we would probably tear it, we do it internally ourselves.
Yep,
We would. So it's not a lot of cost.
We could take the fence down ourselves and then probably rent the dozer and bury it right there where it's at. Right there where the golf course meets the hillside right there. It's just, put some pull the topsoil off, bury it. Topsoil right back on it. Grow grass right there.
So our cost internally, maybe 2,000, 2,000,
Couple
$3,000.
$3,000 for a dozer.
So we probably need a motion, discussion after we have a motion, to tear down the pickleball courts internally ourselves and put it back in, as grants. We have a motion,
I'll second.
we have a second now, we can have further discussion on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something to take lightly. I know that all of our facilities are top notch. We want to keep them there, when we build something, we want more pickleball courts, we can have them somewhere else. It's not ideal, but they would be better off served somewhere else. Like that hill for years was windy through all of it, and pickleball's different than tennis ones there. The wind affects the ball more, so it's a high spot. And it's, got issues with it, but it's the post.
How about the lights? Used elsewhere?
The poles will be taken down. There's some small LEDs that we could probably use. We'll keep and use. I think there's LEDs up there, so they're something useful there. But the fence is shot. That's what we just be salvaged and recycled. So that's all that's needed to go there.
Before we vote on this, we need to do anything else to
Just
tear
put a
down
note,
this.
how should we handle this demolition?
There we go. Figure that out before we make them.
So, you know, I kind of thought that's where we were gonna go. I didn't know that tonight was gonna be the night to vote on a final action. I would prefer that we just, come back to the board now that you've opened this, this discussion with a full recommendation about exactly how we're gonna handle the whole thing.
That's kind of the route that we're gonna take is, what's the fate of these courts at Uniswether? So I think that's what we need to move on now versus how.
Closing courts.
Right.
Close.
Okay, so we have a motion in a second, and now we're not gonna vote.
But it, I mean, in general, where you're,
Yeah.
the general statement is you're feeling like they're unsafe. It's too costly for us to repair them as far as the utilization.
The number of compounding factors against them, yeah, that's just, yeah, exactly.
Would you like to, in your motion, Ken?
Are we going to, just to close the courts? And we'll make a determination of what we do going forward. Take them out of
I
active
would like
use.
to amend my motion for the demolition.
Close them.
To close the court.
Okay, we have amendment, we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same. Thank you. We'll come back and address it at next meeting. You guys will have a proposal how we're going to
Timeframe, yeah.
move on it. And in the meantime, it probably will put what's closed up there, so everybody knows it. Yep. Okay, thank you. Tom, Parks update.
Well, I cannot say enough about our entire park team. If you see all these numbers that we have, at every step of the way, every activity, every location, we have more and more people, more numbers. And by the way, we just opened a pool. So, you know, you focus on a couple of different people that, okay, they're working at the pool, everybody else is picking up slack and doing everything for everybody else, stepping in and helping out. And I'm just proud of our entire team. So, I wanted to say that, but, Charlie and Trace, they got their CPO, their certified pool operator now. So, glad to have them on with that as soon as the pool is open here. So, that's very good. Because we are holding on, spending anything, spending freeze. We talked about Parker Park. We're obviously not gonna be replacing it anytime soon. Therefore, our team's going out and looking at any of those little things that they need to repair, make sure that, everything's safe. Because we can go ahead and put that money in now. So they're working on that as we speak. Speaking of the pool, now I'll just throw a couple of numbers out here, but next month, Janessa will have the May and the June numbers in a full report, but just so you know, 2023, we had 12,000 swimmers for the entire season. And as of today, 17 days into it, we're over 6,000 swimmers. So half the swimmers in 2 weeks. It's getting utilized a lot. The weather hasn't been great, but we're still showing some great numbers there. If you haven't had the chance, would like to go through, I love giving the tour. I probably spent more than Rodney wanted to go through it yesterday going through it, but I enjoy it. Again, I cannot say enough good things about every single person that's had something to do with that pool. But it's been very successful so far, well utilized, so. And then the next thing I have is just seek permission to receive donations. We had the tree giveaway, Potomac 2000, paid $500 for the trees, and we also got cash donations of $60 at that time. So total donations we would like to accept are $560.
I'd like to have a motion to seek permission to receive the donations of $560. We have a motion.
I'll second
We have a
that.
second. Any further discussion?
What is the, did I miss, what is the money gonna be used for?
Oh, it goes in, it's a restricted use fund, it goes in the microing fund.
Into what? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that's what's being approved.
yes,
Those donations and putting them into that fund.
yes.
Ultimately, the council then has to approve the acceptance of all donations.
Yeah. It's the sheet that's. It's in there.
My thought.
Okay, yeah.
Scott over here. Mike over here down.
Yeah.
So any
Thanks.
further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those the same, motion carries. Thank you.
Your rentable facilities report, is in your packet per usual. You can see that May had some really high numbers. A lot of that obviously has to do with graduations. So it's booming for all the facilities, which is great. And then I also have, the dog park memberships. I guess the weather finally started getting warm and people were like, hey, I'm gonna take my dog to the parks. We had 10 new ones within the last month, which was great. So that just continues to go well, and hopefully as the weather keeps rising in temp, we can, boost that number too. So, not a whole lot, to go over with those. They're the same as they are each month unless you have questions. I have also under my name, speaking of pool earlier, I've got some employees, that I got permission to hire for the pool. We were needing some extra staff for the pool concessions, an additional lifeguard. So, seeking permission to hire those employees, please.
And again, the way that I've explained this is, it's not, we're not adding more stations to it. You have five people out on the court on a basketball game. We have 8 people on the bench. We're adding 4 more people on the bench. So it doesn't come to the budget, affect our budget. It's just having more availability of workers.
So we would need a motion to approve summer employees.
I'll make the motion.
It's made motion. You have a second? Any further discussion? Those in favor, aye. Those the same, motion carries.
That's all I got.
Good job.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Thanks.
You did an awesome job, you guys. I don't think unless you took a tour or taken a tour of that facility, you don't really know what goes into it. I think at one point in time, Janessa, Tom, you said you had 10 people, the concession stand, or 8 to 10 people in concession stand.
8 concession and we got 13 guards for the day.
I mean, it was really impressive. Everything about that place is impressive, so congratulations, great job.
They had
And then ticket people that,
we have 2 at the
we
admission.
always have 2 admissions. That's with concessions.
That's
They're
with
the same
concessions,
people.
yeah. So concessions and admissions rotate through.
I'll have them all in the same buildings.
It is.
They were all spread out before, it's just, it's all, it's working well so far. Same thing. And your guards, especially, ticket booth all right there, that's a big help.
We're still working through a lot of things that we don't know, but
Should take us all summer.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
And then the pool, essentially the pool managers are, in addition to that, there's usually one there that's doing
Correct.
the parties.
we have
or-
a manager and assistant manager now, so. And we're very pleased to have Sierra there this year. Hopefully we can keep her on for a long time. She's got a great aquatics background. She's helped out us tremendously. As much as Janessa knows and Jay knows about pool stuff, she knows everything about lifeguarding stuff. So we're very fortunate to have her there.
It's pretty cool at 10 till 12 before it opens, you have 2 buses from different communities shipping their people in Jasper, to go to a swimming pool. That's pretty impressive, so.
On a day that it started off raining.
So, again, congratulations, great job. Any other old or new business? If not, do we need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Second. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye. Both the same, motion carries.